welcome to the High Performance Cricket Podcast. Today, if you listen to this podcast in full, I can guarantee that you will take away something that can make you a better cricketer right now today. Whether you're a cricketer striving to make it to the top, whether you're a coach who's trying to help other cricketers achieve their dreams, or you're a parent of a cricketer who wants their kid to get the best out of themselves and enjoy their cricket as much as you possibly can, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Jason Cox, the founder of High Performance Cricket. And at High Performance Cricket, we combine strength and conditioning, mental skills, the cricket technical and tactical skills, and overall lifestyle development from nutrition, recovery, and everything that goes into making cricketers a better player. I have all my links down below in the description. If you have any interest in working with us to become a better cricketer or your child to become a better cricketer. But for now, let's get into the show. Today, I'm going to tell you why you're not bowling as fast as what you want. Why you're not bowling fast all year round. Why you shouldn't be bowling fast all year round. What's the difference between those who can bowl really, really fast and those that can't. And what you can do and what mindset shifts you should have in order to maximize your ability to bowl as fast as what you possibly can for you. For you to reach your genetic ceiling, for you to make it and to the fastest that you can, and ultimately discuss whether is pulling the lever of trying to bowl faster the best thing for you. It is something that we all aspire to do. Like, I know for me growing up, watching Brett Lee initially, I still remember where I was watching Sean Tate bowl that ball at 160 and Brad Haddin's taking the ball and he's mic'd up and he's going, oh, Jesus, that's fast. And I can still remember, Brett Lee, the Yorkers, and I remember hitting the YouTube video when he hit, I'm not sure, the guy in the nose and it started bleeding everywhere. I was 13 when Mitchell Johnson started bowling in the Ashes, that Ashes series when he's pitting blokes in the ribs and he's terrorising the English. That was probably the formative years for me. I think I was 13, 14, being a left-arm bowler, and then for me to be like, yep, I want to be just like that. I want to terrorise people just like that. And so ball speed is something that we all desire. Like, I know you're listening to this. I don't care if you're a batter, spin bowler, keeper. You want to bowl fast. And everybody wants to bowl fast. And it's something that, what I am working with most of my online clients is on how to generate some more ball speed. That's what most people come to me with. How can I get faster? How can I get more powerful, more explosive? All that sorts of things. And that's what I love through my online coaching. And there's obviously a few factors to that and how I help people with that. One thing, obviously, is technical, which is massive, where I'll get them to send me videos. I'll provide them analysis and essentially trying to make their bowling action more efficient. I set them up with gym programs and focusing on developing speed, power, coordination, getting in specific positions. Also, understand that maybe sometimes being overly specific with your training is not the best thing either. Like sometimes you do just need general raw power, strength, etc. Everybody is different when it comes to that. And then there's other factors too, like nutrition, sleep, your lifestyle, all those sorts of things all come into play when it comes to bowling faster. And bowling fast and working hard are actually on opposite ends of the spectrum. Now, you might find that really confusing. You might be like, hold on. I've been told if I work hard for something, I can get there. And absolutely, that is the case. But it's also not the case as well. And I'll delve into that a little bit more. So, in order to bowl fast, more is not always better when it comes to your training. So, essentially, like when I went to India, right, I noticed that a lot of cricketers were bowling so much. Like we kids who are bowling 10 days in a row, right, which is like nuts for me to think about. I'm not sure how they made it through. 13, 14-year-old kids. And what they don't understand, and they ask me why aren't I bowling faster, why aren't I bowling faster, is that fatigue governs bowling fast so much. And what I mean by that is it's impossible to bowl your fastest when you have fatigue. the nervous system is such a powerful thing. Think about your nervous system as like your body battery. If you're training raw speed, because of its intensity required, because it's like actually at your maximal intent. So when we're working in that area of absolutely 100% flat out, whether it's sprinting, whether it's a 1 rep max, whether it's a max vertical jump, max ball speed when you're bowling, you need to be doing those sessions when you're absolutely fresh. And that fatigue versus workload thing is absolutely butchered by a lot of people. And I'm sure if you're listening and watching this, that you've probably butchered it as well. And I butchered this as well. I grew up, work hard, blue collar, out in the country. The more work you do, the luckier you get. And 100%. But the more work you do doesn't mean the faster you get bowling wise. It's because if I bowl 10 overs, right, how many of those balls can I actually bowl like flat out? And you need to understand the difference between max effort of trying to bowl fast and max intent of actually bowling fast. That's the difference. Think about a body fit or a HIIT class or a boot camp style class in the gym where you're working your ass off. Like, that is hard. That's effort. Hard effort. But you're not telling me by, your third round of the assault bike that your intensity, like your watts on the bike, is not going to be at the same if you did 1 5-second max out sprint. Running, perfect example. For some, let's say running a 10K, like really, really hard, max effort. But if you run that 10K alongside, for your last 100 meters, alongside Usain Bolt or Gaout, who's on a heater right now, who did just lose a stall gift. Like, didn't even make the final of the stall gift. What were they doing? So, side tangent there. But like, if you run your last 100 meters of your 10K and then Gaout's run next year, if you told me that you were working harder and your effort was higher, I'll believe you because you'd be gassed. But his intensity would be way higher than you. And that's what we need to think about. And the great comparison to fast bowling is athletics and sprinting and even like long jump and high jump and those power-based sports where they don't just smash lots of volume when trying to get faster. Now, there might be periods in their training load where they're not trying to get faster. They're trying to build some capacity, build some aerobic qualities, whatever it is. They might have a high volume period, but it's not about always more volume. So more is not better when it comes to developing bowling speed. Now, when we're trying to develop a certain skill, like an off cutter, a leg cutter, outswing, in-swing accuracy, then more volume probably is better because you need repetition, we need to ingrain a new technique, etc. So when you're trying to make technical changes, you do need to put the reps in. So there's that fine balance of training. And that's really important that you need to know that because you need to know when to pull what lever. You need to know what your goal is of the session. Now, from training with some professional cricketers this last little bit, which has been awesome since they finished their off season, like Todd Murphy, obviously a spinner, Cam McClure, fast bowler, Brody Couch as well, fast bowler. That it's super important that to understand for you is that they're human beings. It's like they're not different. I was talking to someone yesterday, like they're human beings. They do the same sort of training, but what they do is they get the most out of their training. They're not wasting balls. They're not wasting reps in the gym. They're resting enough. They're actually getting what they need out of the session rather than just getting the session done. That's what I need you to do. I need you to be aware and train with the purpose. That's the key. That's something I didn't do. I wish I understood this when I was playing when I was younger. Because I just bowled because that's the right thing to do. Or I just did bowling drills. Like, let's say you see a bowling drill. Yep, I'm just going to do some drills. I'm just going to go around the nets. I'm just going to do some drills. But, like, I wasn't really doing the drills for anything. Like, there wasn't a reason. I wasn't doing the drill to try and link that to my bowling action to then get the feeling from that drill so then I could do that in my action to be a better bowler. I'll just be doing the drill to make it feel like I was productive, to make it feel like I was getting better. But in reality, what I was doing is I was like getting tired and fatiguing my body for no reason. Because like if we're gonna exercise, if we're gonna train, like we may as well get something out of the fatigue that we're putting on the body. That's what training is. We fatigue the body, but the desired outcome once we recover is to then get better. And it needs to be something that we're getting better at. Otherwise, we're just fatiguing the body for no reason. And if we circle back to what I said at the start, fatigue is the enemy when it comes to bowling fast. It's as simple as that. You can't bowl fast when you're fatigued. So if all your net sessions are just going out and just smashing loads and loads and loads of volume, then don't come to me and say, I don't understand why I'm not getting faster. And I'll be like, your training doesn't support you getting faster. What you're doing is, in fact, the opposite. So when I hear about people's things and like they're bewildered, and I'm like, no, like the way how you're training is the exact reason why you're not getting faster. And what it looks like is that's bowling 3, 4, 5 times, in a week in the off season. In season, it's bowling way too much. You might be bowling in 3 games on a weekend. Like junior cricketers that are bowling Friday, Saturday, Sunday, etc. Like it's impossible for you to get faster by doing that. Plus training during the week, like it's impossible to get faster. If you're bowling for more than an hour in the nets at training, then you're not going to get faster. Those things just don't work. If you're going for, long 5, 10K runs in season, then you're not going to get faster in season. I'll just grab a little sip of the water there, but you just not. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. And I made these mistakes too. That's the thing I did all these mistakes, and I did not get faster. I was telling the boys in the gym yesterday, I'm like, boys, when I was 15, I was absolutely smoke gas. But then I stopped. No, I didn't stop. That's a lie. I'm not sure why I said that, but I kept on going, and I got injured, and I come back, and I never really got my pace back. Like it is. And I made a mistake. I didn't get faster after the age of 15. You know what I mean? So it's super, super, super important to learn from the mistakes that I made. So think about fatigue. Think about fatigue as a major thing in your training. And that's something that you would never, ever think of. Like, I never thought of this as like, when do you want to be fatigued throughout the week? What sessions do you want to do when you're fatigued? Because that's going to dictate when you do your training. So you want to do your speed-specific training when you're least fatigued. So you might want to do that at the start of the week. And this session might literally look like 12 balls with 2 to 3 minutes rest in between each ball. So let's say it might be a 40-minute bowl and you're bowling 2 overs. But your intent has to be 100%, which means as soon as we're worrying about a target, we're not training speed. Let's get that right. As soon as you're worrying about hitting the pitch off stump, try and get a batter out, you're not training speed at all. So it needs to be bowling often maybe just into the net in front of you, like bowling from, if you're indoors, bowling from halfway down and bowling into the net. So it doesn't even compute. You don't even think about it. Or it's literally when you're bowling, like, be happy if you miss the pitch or whatever it is, if you're bowling a full run out the middle, whatever it is. Because as soon as we're worrying about other things, not pace and intent, then we're not training speed. Like, you're not training and you will not get faster. So, super, super important to think about that when it comes to, this is your training. This is your training. You need that max velocity exposure. Long rest in between each rep. So you need 2 to 3 minutes rest in between each ball. And that is how you're going to maximize your intensity of training. Okay? So if you're looking to get faster, you need to have one of those sessions in your training session per week. Now, obviously, like I said, just by adding this session in, you're going to improve so much. You're going to learn more about your body, but the one thing is really important that you need to have a body prepared to do this. So go through a period where you build up your bowling loads to handle that intensity. That's the first thing. That's a caveat. So we can't just bowl flat out from the get-go. You need a reload phase in. From there, obviously technical changes are required for you to bowl faster. So you can gain speed by altering technique, but you can also gain speed by training speed, by upgrading your nervous system's ability, telling your body it's okay to bowl fast. But so the technical thing is really, really important. And it's really important to get that right. And things like your run-up is all about building momentum into the crease. You need a smooth, efficient run-up where I feel like a lot of people could run in faster. I feel like, honestly, a lot of people can run in a whole lot faster because it's all about gaining momentum. That's the thing. So I get a lot of people, once again, through my online coaching, and they'll send me a video of their bowling, and they're just trotting in, they're just jogging in. There's zero intent. So what I'll say to them is, I want you to run in with intent, like a 20-minute sprint, and just tear away. I'd rather you run in too fast in training, and we can pull that back, than the other way around. You run in too slow, and you don't give yourself a chance to bowl fast. So from there, you're working on technique, run-up, efficiency. You want a nice gradual build into the crease. You want to be hitting your top speed just before you go into like an impulse stride, which is the stride where you go into your jump, just before you go into your jump. And I need you to attack out of that. Because you need it, it's almost like a long jumper. Because you need to hold that momentum from your run-up into your bowling action. So that's one thing too. People tend to decelerate through that, where you need to accelerate through that impulse strike, accelerate through that step into your jump, and like catapult yourself forward and through, just like a long jumper does. From there, back foot contact is really crucial. You want to be fast off your back foot. So I don't want to see people leaking energy into the ground through like collapsing, through their back leg, through their heel, dropping and touching the ground too much. I want to be nice and fast, landing ball of your foot, fast off the back foot. Because the longer we spend on our back foot, the more time we have to then fall over, and the more times that we have then as well to lose energy through the ground. We want to get off that back foot as fast as we can, transition all momentum onto that front foot, snap through our action, and having all momentum going bang down towards the target. So if you're looking at bowling action, you're not quite sure what you should be looking at. One would be trying to get as much sort of straight line as possible. So from your top of your run up through towards off stump, draw a line and have a look and see if you deviate through your run up, if you deviate through your jump out left or right, if your front arm and that's coming across or you're falling away. So we want to keep pretty good alignment. We want to get everything nice and straight and efficient. And then look at your back foot contact position. Are you sinking down into the ground? Are you staying tall? We want to be staying tall and efficient. And then through your front foot contact, we don't want to be leaking energy through our front leg. We want to be using our front leg as a block, and you like looking like you're catapulting yourself through your bowling action. Once you got the right type of training, you understand what sessions you should be doing to develop speed. You understand fatigue. You understand that in order to train fast, you can't be fatigued. That's our enemy. We're doing the right technical things. We then actually need to train your body to be a generally really, really, really good athlete. You won't see people bowling fast who are not powerful, who are not explosive, who don't have just general good fitness. I think that it's important to understand your type of body though. So there's, like, you would have seen like Stephen Jones talk about a hip dominant and knee dominant type bowler. Essentially what that means is like a knee dominant bowler, it will be someone like me who's a bit more muscular driven, not quite as snappy and fast and light and bouncy, a bit more thicker and muscular. And a hip driven guy who's someone who's more tendon based, more elastically driven based. And it's just really, really important to understand what you are. And I think we sort of know, like, are you more of like your bouncy, flexible, elastic guy? Or are you more of like your stiffer, stronger, rigid guy? Because both need to be trained a little bit differently. Your more elastic, hip dominant guy is someone that can't quite handle as much volume. So you don't want to overload yourself with too much volume because you fatigue a lot easier because your fiber type makeup is more of a fast twitch nature. That's really important to understand. So don't, like, let's say in the gym, do 2 sets instead of 4. If you're doing running, like conditioning, do 6 sets instead of 10. Like, you can't quite handle that same amount of volume as what you could do with someone like me. I can smack volume. So I'm like, yep, 3-4 sets in the gym, I respond. I can handle more volume. And for someone like me who's more that slower switch, that knee dominant, that muscular driven guy, I'll need to do a lot more power work. But I respond really, really well to like longer ground contacts, longer ways to produce force. So like heavy jumps, Olympic lifts, things like that is stuff that my body really, really loves. Whereas I need to practice a lot more plyometrics and springiness and those sort of things, like hopping and bounding and things like that. Whereas the tendon driven guy, I probably wouldn't do as much, strength. You need to get strong enough, but you wouldn't overload them with strength stuff, and you do a lot more power and speed work and feed their strengths while getting the body strong around, like key injury sites as well, especially around like side strains and things like that. So that's where like the general preparation side comes in. You need to understand, you need to have a general baseline of fitness. That's when, that's sort of the phase that like a lot of my clients are in now in Australia, which is different to my clients like in other parts of the world, like in England or wherever it is, because right now, off-season phase, we're working on general preparation, which people will be like, oh, I want a specific program. However, specific to what you need right now is that you need a more general program. So that's really, really important to know. And what I'm trying to explain right now is that right now we're actually trying to build a bit of fatigue in the system. So I was having a chat with one of my online clients the other day, and he was saying like, oh, like right now, like I'm getting really like strong, I'm getting better in the gym, but I'm not bowling faster. I'm like, well, number one, let's have a little break from bowling after the season. But number two, I'll explain to him that right now we're doing a lot of higher volume work in the gym, like 3 sets of 8, 4 seconds slow on the eccentric, 2-second pause on the bottom, a lot of time under tension, a lot of eccentric strength, a lot of soreness we're trying to get out of the body because we're trying to build that general capacity, that general strength. We're trying to put fatigue on his system through more running, more volume, and we're actually looking for fatigue right now. We're looking to develop strength. We're looking to do some volumes of jumps. We're doing more sprint work. All very fatiguing work. Which means that when he goes into his bowling session, his nervous system is fatigued. So then, as mentioned at the start, you're not going to be able to bowl quite as fast because you're under fatigue. Now think about the yearly cycle of, like, let's say in Australia, if your season's October to March, there's no point bowling your fastest right now in April, or in May, or in June, or July, which I think a lot of people get into the habit in. They're trying to be at their best, at their fastest all year round, which is impossible. Because you need to go through phases of training where it's more of a development, where we're training the body, and then once we get to season, then we look to peak for performance. So I was explaining to him as well, it's like, trust my plan. We're doing this training now to set you up for round 1 in October. And then from there, we're setting you up for then you to be bowling your best in grand final day the next seasons. And when I'm doing a program, I'm thinking about things. I'm thinking about next March. How can I get you? How can I set you up from a physical point of view and a bowling point of view? By next March, you are dominating finals. That's what we want to do. Like, I know when I play cricket, I want to win flags. So, doing more volume work, spending time developing strength, developing speed, developing power, putting on a little bit of muscle if need be, working on aerobic fitness, doing volume that way. That is what's specific right now to what we need. That's the key. Because that then sets us up for when we strip back that volume and then we actually start to realise we actually get to realise that the training that we've done. Because as I mentioned before, if we're in a fatigue state, then that's going to be hard for us to express that power, express that speed. But once we do a block of volume and then we take away that volume and we intensify training, that's when the body goes, wow, I feel so much fresher, or I'm stronger, or more powerful, and then it can actually express that. That is the plan. Because we can't just think of it like a pyramid. At the base of a pyramid, that's our volume. It's wider. At the top is more the intensity at higher speed. We can't be at the top all year round because that means we're not building the base of the pyramid. We're not building that base of those general qualities and strength to then feed up the top. Because we all know the wider the base, so if we're not expanding and growing that base wider, then the tip is limited. And every off season we go in, we make that base wider. So then at the top, that top expression of speed and performance is higher and greater. In the next pre-season, then we try and maintain that throughout the season. Christmas break, we might go some more general stuff to top back up. Because throughout the season, maybe that base might start to shrink a little bit. And then phases where we need to build that back up again. So then at the top, by finals, we're performing. So that's like a little look into my brain, is how we manage fatigue, how I manage training and parts of the season. Like, this is what like periodization is sort of called, which, you know, is a word. It's just another word for having a plan, essentially. Having a plan and looking at the long term, because working with me, it's not a short-term thing. Like, there's no magic fix. I will do short-term projects only, pretty much with professional cricketers. So, like right now, I've got like Brodie Couch, essentially. We've got 6 weeks until Major League Cricket. And it's time for us to prepare his body like a training camp into a massive tournament for him that could set him up for contracts in PSL or IPL maybe, or a more Big Bash and the English stuff. And like, this is his job. So 6 weeks training camp, essentially, to get him in peak condition. Same thing for like Todd Murphy. He's got an Australian camp in a few weeks. He'll train with me up until an Australian camp. Then Cam McClure, once again, is 6 weeks before going back into the Vic system. How can we set the body up to go into that professional environment? Because I can't work with them all year round. But the amateur cricketer, like I'm looking after them all year round. So I need to have that plan of being like, all right, let's zoom out. What is specific to what we need to work on right now for you? Let's build that quality, and then we progress, bang, 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 and we set things up. That's why I really only like take on people who are dedicated long term and actually like are really motivated to get the most out of themselves for a long period of time, and are willing to put that work in. Because the people who get the least out of my coaching are the ones that are a little bit flaky and like, in and out, and you don't really hear from them, they don't really buy in, and you like message them, they take 4 days to reply, and you're like, oh, mate, I want to help you. I love helping people get where they want to be. Whereas you get guys like Kieran Elliott, who I work with for over a year, into the Tassie team, state contract, like fucking oath, and his communication was elite. But it doesn't even mean that. Like guys from, I've got to work with a guy in Queensland who started off playing 5th grade, and then last year was playing seconds, and after like there's 2 years of working together now, it's fucking awesome. Like the dedication he is, we're on the phone every week, we're talking about training, we're talking about bowling, technical changes, run up, mindset. You know, we're all in. It's all in as a part of the plan. That's what I just love. I love it. Like, it's my passion. Getting people better is so good. In fact, I can do it with people all around the world. My online coaching systems and that is honestly something that like I just love. I love doing. I love people that are all in. I love people that are training hard and like in it to get better. Because like I'm here, I am like just my job is just to really just lock in, help people get better as best they possibly can. Set them up with the program, nutrition, mindset, lifestyle, you name it, and then we just get after it. Nice little ramble there. I sort of hope that you guys enjoyed the talking speed and how to train speed. I think like one thing I probably didn't touch on was how I'd sort of build a gym program, which I can do another episode on a bit later on. But yeah, I hope you liked that, you did enjoy that, because that's sort of what my discussions have been. It's like fatigue management, number one. As I said before, fatigue management is so good. Most important. And then from there, it's about understanding you as an athlete, knowing what to train, how much to train of it. Technical changes as well, which is main part of it too. So, talking for half an hour is actually it takes you out a little bit. So I'll leave you to it there. Nice half an hour episode. I mentioned before my online coaching. I do have spots available, and that's something that I'm really looking to push and shift towards as well, because I really want to help you. And if you're listening to this podcast, the chances are you're someone who loves cricket and is dedicated to getting better. And I know for myself, I would love getting better every single day. And I've worked with coaches on like my business and social media and trying to help develop that. And so I practice, I preach with that, and I want to help you. So yeah, links are down below for my online coaching as well. And I'd love to help you out, because nothing I would love more than seeing you realize your potential. But enough of that from me. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great day. Elite stuff on for the weekend for me before I go. On the life update for me. What I got? Anzac Day this Friday. I'm actually doing a lot of one-on-ones coaching, so a long weekend, but no long weekend for me. I did have a long weekend last weekend where I went away for 4 days down to Torquay, and that was awesome. A good reset for me. You like go away for a few days on the beers, and you're like, I'm reset. I needed a bit of a reset, and now I'm back. So nutrition's been on point this week. Training's been good this week. Still battling my knee injury from footy the week before, which has been annoying. Jumping fences after a few beers it's not a good idea, so don't do that if you've ever done your knee, because you put you back a week or two. Oh, so silly. I'm so silly sometimes. But fun weekend away in Torquay, but this long weekend I'll be working all day Friday, all day Saturday. Beers Saturday night, I reckon, at a house party. But Sunday as well, I am looking to plan a little trip, potentially to the UK. So I'll leave that there with you guys. Any people in the UK listening to this and want me to come over, I'm all yours. I'm looking in the Leeds, Manchester area and run a bit of a mark up there, do a little bit of coaching and see the world. So potentially that could be on the horizon, but I'll know more next week. So thanks for listening, guys, and I'll speak to you guys soon. And that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for watching, guys. I know you haven't subscribed yet, so please make sure you do right now. Leave a review and let me know any feedback or any questions that you have from this previous episode. If you are interested in becoming the best cricketer that you've ever been and getting coaching from me, I have all my links down below in the description for either my in-person based in Melbourne or my online coaching where you can be anywhere around the world. Thanks, guys. Feel free to share with a friend, and thanks for tuning in. Win the day.